Welcome to the Surviving to Thriving podcast with Jim Squire. I'm a registered psychotherapist here in Toronto, Canada, and this is actually my third episode. And I'm really excited today because I've got a guest with me from London, England. His name is Ash Edelman, and I'm going to actually let him introduce himself and tell us a bit about what he does and who he is. Ash?
Amazing. Mate, thank you for having me. Look, I'm Ash Edelman. I'm an Australian guy living in London, and I've been here for about 8 years. Professional bodybuilder. Got a couple of titles and a couple of pro cards under my belt, and also an online coach. So basically working with successful individuals, helping shift mindset, but also helping shift and change habits to make sure the results they get are ones they want, but also the long lasting. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Great. Yeah, no, and that was, I don't think actually I've ever told you this, but one of the ways that I actually, I guess the thing that led me to you was I used to watch your posts on social media, sort of calling out people for lack of a better term, bullshit, sort of for these different sort of exercise routines and things that were complete nonsense. And I think what gravitated me to you was your just sort of honest, no nonsense kind of advice, and then I started following you, and that's how we kind of met. But so I'm really curious too, because there's one thing about I noticed, like, I mean, I don't know tons of trainers, but your focus on mindset and belief system, I think, is really something to me that sets you apart. And I'd like to talk just a bit about, how does that factor into your success and into how you work?
Yeah. Well, I think, if I take this back to when I first moved to London, so I was handed a book called Asking It Is Given. Now, Asking It Is Given, they talk about God, but it really comes down to kind of how you read the book and how you want to look at it. So I started reading this book and talking about how your thoughts are energy, everything, what are the thoughts we put out into the universe and what we get back. And I started implementing that into my life. Now, this is before I became an online coach. I'd still moved to London and had no idea what I was doing in my life. As things progressed, I started using it during my competition prep. So I'd have certain things I'd say to myself before I do a competition. Leading up to it would be just that positive self-talk. So there's a quote that I'm claiming, TM, trademarking. You're a winner until you're not, and when you're not, you're a student until you become the master. Now, with this, everything I said to myself through this process, and I still use it today. I'm 11 competitions in, and I still use it today. I'm a winner. I've already won. I will claim that title beforehand. I will literally, in my journals, everything I do, I've already won it. Saying things like, for my pro card last year with men's physique in the IFBB, in my journal every single day for 30, even longer than that actually, I think it was about 8 months leading up to it. I get my IFBB pro card on the 12th September 2021 in Finland, Tampere, in men's physique. Like, I had that level of detail, and I walked away, and that's what happened.
Wow.
But I've done that for every show, and I've been able to implement that into everything I do with my life. It's now a massive part of my morning routine. But when I moved it across to coaching, I was able to, how do I say this? I was able to bring that shift in their mindset. Now, I had no idea at that point in time that this would work. Everything was just running off complete anecdotal stuff for myself. But being able to then implement morning routines into people's daily lives, how they talk to themselves, how they think, has been incredible for every single person. Now, there are clients that I will start with 13 weeks with, and they might not see much of a physical change, but the mental change they have has been phenomenal. And then usually in the next 13 weeks, when we start running together, that's when the actual changes start to happen. Wow. Now, when it comes to, if you look at it as about 100%, okay, it's all 50% mindset, 30% nutrition, 20% training. So again, if your mind isn't in this, so if you're going, I want to lose weight, I want to drop body fat, I want to do a competition, I want to be able to walk 10 kilometers, whatever it is you want to do, if your head isn't in there, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I've found this with clients, even people, they'll reach out to you and go, I'm really interested in coaching. I'm really interested in this, but then they won't reach back out. That's where they leave it there because they're not mentally ready for it. I've got clients that have followed me for 4 or 5 years and have only just reached out to me. That's because now they're mentally ready for the change.
Yeah.
So trying to lose weight, try to shift body composition is a lot more than just eating right and trying to train. One, you can't out-train a shit diet. But two, if you can't get yourself out of bed to go for a walk in the morning, if you can't drag yourself to the gym, if you can't get up and make sure you're eating the right food, if you can't just be conscious of that sort of stuff, get the right amount of sleep, reduce partying, but do the right habits that need to happen, then you're not going to be ready in the right place to change. And if you are, it's going to be an uphill battle. Wow. So I hope that roundabout kind of answers the question.
Yeah, no, that's great because I want to just highlight again that what you said, because 50% mindset, 30% nutrition, and 20% training. I think that's not something that's generally thought about. I think sometimes people would think it's like 80% training, and and that's one of the. I was going to ask you a question about some of the key ingredients in change. So you sort of answered it there. That it's mindset, right? So and focus. So
yeah. Well, look, I'd even take it further to say that that's even 40% 40% nutrition, 10% training, because training is just a tool. Now, before I even became a coach, my dad went through a phase of just removing sugar and bread. He removed sugar and bread from his diet. And he lost 10 kilos in 3 months. Now, that was obviously that put him into a calorie deficit. So that's why he was then able to lose the weight. But it's seeing that little shift happen then, being like, okay, all he did was remove food. He didn't train. He didn't do anything because he couldn't. He was injured, but he still lost the weight. So when people look at training and go, oh, I can go from McDonald's, then go train, or I can have a shit diet. I can eat pizza every single day of the week. I can have 5 tubs of Ben and Jerry's, whatever it is, or not even have any idea of what they're having for food, like the amount of it, what they actually need. And then they go, I can train. It's all good. Again, they're never going to out-train a shit diet. You will never out-train a shit diet, no matter how hard you go. Yeah. So, it's all mindset, then nutrition, then your little tool for training. Yeah.
I remember years ago, I heard somebody say, I don't know who it was, they said that, I think we were talking about abs, and they said abs are like 90% made in the kitchen. And I guess, with nutrition and stuff, that makes a lot of sense. But so just to kind of go over, so for you, the morning routine, the journaling, the kind of like getting your sort of your mindset right first thing in the morning, I think it's key for you.
Yeah, it is. It's our first few hours of the day sets the tone for the day. Now, when you can hack yourself and you understand when do you function better? For me, it's first thing in the morning. Okay, so I need to make sure everything I'm doing in the morning will fit my routine and make me achieve the best that I can. So I get up with morning cardio. I then come in. I'll do Wim Hof breathing followed by I am affirmations. After I've done that, I'll then write my journal and usually do some Sudoku as well. So a bit of brain games. I'm either microdosing or taking ADHD medication, depending on the day, and making sure I'm set. Because I used to get up and try to train clients in the morning and work in the afternoon, and it would completely throw me. I'd lose interest, and I wouldn't be focused. Where by switching everything around to work for myself in the morning, starting with that morning routine, followed into a nice little workflow, my day flows so much better. Plus, when I come to the gym of an afternoon, like I'm here right now, and when I come to the gym of an afternoon, I've got no work to think about. Okay, I've got nothing to think about until tomorrow. So now I can flow into my day, and I can put the intention where I need in my training. Yeah. So all this afternoon is literally training, eating, and resting. But that's also understanding my day, understanding my goals, what I'm doing. Getting ready for a competition in July means I've got to put in really the groundwork now to make sure I'm ready for July.
Yeah. Okay. And that's one thing I you don't know, but when I sometimes mention you to people, one of the things that I'll mention is how when we first met in August, you were telling me that this competition in September, you were going to win it, and you weren't doing it in sort of like cocky way, but you were just saying like, there's a competition, I'm going to win, and I was okay, and then I must say, when you did win, I was watching it when you did win, I was like, man, like he won. So this works. But no, I was really, that really kind of made me wonder a bit more about, taking a look deeper into mindset and belief systems, because that was quite impressive. And I must say, I don't have a lot of contact with athletes, so I know with athletes, focusing on winning, being on the podium is a fairly common thing. But I was always very impressed by that. So that's nice to know. So you start off your day, the morning routine sort of sets the pace for the day. You've got your day structured in a way, and I also know that in terms of your I guess your self-care, you do dedicate your evenings to your wife and to your personal life, in which, so I think you've dedicating and focusing on making sure all the areas are being addressed, and there's I guess a balance.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, look, if I was a single man, I'd work 24/7. I wouldn't stop. But it's finding that balance to make sure my life flows. Like, again, being a competitive bodybuilder is a difficult life for anyone to follow, and especially my wife. It can be fucking very difficult for her. But being able to have this structure in place that I have now, being able to make sure she gets the time needed, I've got the time for my bodybuilding, I've got the time for my work, is making things a lot easier, and it's keeping both parties very happy, which is happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah, well, keep it in the balance. Yeah. So, and the other question I wanted to ask you too was, in terms of how things have changed for you. I guess at one point years ago, you used to just train people in the gym in person, and now you're doing it through this virtual way of training. How do you find that? You find that that's effective?
I find it a lot better. I've still got one or two clients face to face, and it's more time consuming now. I think that's the most difficult thing, is by moving everything online. Thank God to COVID, being able to move everything online allowed me to do things like take my wife to Mexico for 2 weeks and still work and still make the business function whilst I was away. Moved to Thailand. Moved to Thailand last year for 6 months. So it allows me to still change lives around the world, but also still live my life and do what I need to do now, which is absolutely amazing. And it teaches people to be self-sufficient, because the thing that I didn't like about face-to-face training was a lot of people have that mentality of, I'm seeing a trainer for 3 hours a week, 3 times, or an hour a day, 3 times a week. Sweet, that's everything happening. I'm losing weight, I should be doing this. That's what a lot of people think. But it's the other 23 hours, in the day that matter.
Yeah.
And by being able to put myself back and go, cool, you don't get me in a gym, but I'm a coach in a pocket. I'm the no bullshit coach in a pocket. By being able to have that, where my clients will message me in the gym, hey man, this is this exercise, is this okay? They'll send me a video form, double check it, make sure it's okay. Like, you can't do that if someone was booking me for one-on-one training, I'd be with 10 clients through the day, so you have that 1 hour spot to ask questions. The rest of it, I can't talk to you.
Yeah, that's true.
So now it's just made things a lot easier, and it's allowed for the people that do live in other countries. Like, me being Australian, I've got a lot of clients back in Australia. So it still allows me to have that access to people and still be able to help those people. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because, obviously back in the day, I want to work with that trainer, but he lives in a different country, well, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was thinking it really has changed things. And so just so people are aware, like you're using then there's a program you use to track the food, and then you're using things like Fitbit or Apple Watch to track like steps and activity levels and stuff, so that, and then you've got also an app where people are entering in what they're doing. So you're able to like sort of be very aware.
Everything. So it's good. I get MyFitnessPal links up to the app, so I can see what everyone's having for food. I can see everything down to the minute they're having it. When they have a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, I can then see their calorie burn, I can see their sleep, I can see the steps, I can see their resting heart rate, I can see all those things. So everything comes up. And the more information that I have, the better results people get. I get people weighing themselves daily. Obviously, some people can't do it daily, other people can. So I get them weighing themselves as much as possible. But the more information I have as a coach, the better results people get.
Wow.
So
Perfect.
having this system, having this platform has changed the way I see coaching, because I can actually have all that detail right there.
Yeah, that's amazing. I never really thought about until we start talking about the change that means. So, and then you can have clients, of course, all over the world. So,
That's the one.
and so what I'll do in the uh, I'll add to the description when I post this. I'll add sort of your contact information. So if anybody's interested in training with you, doesn't really matter where you live. So
Yeah,
good. Okay.
100%.
All right. Well, I know you're a busy guy. You got a competition coming up in July, and so that's your first. Is that your first pro competition?
Yes, it is. So started a bulk prep for another 2 months. Then we begin the prep going into July. So first show's in Spain, second show's in Portugal, and the third show is back here in the UK.
Wow.
So
Okay.
look, I'm saying this. I'm saying this now, and this is what I have been saying is I will get my 2023 Olympia qualification within my first couple of pro shows this year. So
Wow.
that's the same sort of this, using the same mentality and the same thought process I did before the last competition. I'll be doing it again for this one as well. Like, I think this is the big one as well. With when people are using this technique, or they hear someone going, "I'm a winner," and they put it to arrogance. Now, the way the self-talk you have is nowhere near arrogance. It is a way to help yourself and to be able to trick your own mind. Where I've had people come to me and go, "Why do you do that? It's arrogant. Why the hell do you talk yourself like that?" And this is the thing, is it works. Arrogance is to the point when you're running around the gym telling every single person you're going to do it and trying to get in everyone's face. That's
Yeah.
arrogance.
Yeah.
But the way we talk to ourselves, you can say anything to yourself. Oh my God, I've told myself some of the most outlandish shit just to make sure I was in the right headspace. So you can say anything to yourself as long as it's towards your goals. And I think that's a big one for people to really take in.
Yeah. Like the I am statements, they're huge affirmations.
Yeah.
I am. And
I am statements at everything.
yeah. Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, great. So, well, we'll be rooting for you on your shows, and
Thank you very much, sir.
I do really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
No,
And
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me on.